Thank you for joining us for Open Line tonight. I've tried to take as many calls that have come in, and we're going to do that right now. David's on the line. David, you're probably our last caller of the night. What's your comment or question?
Why don't they build like 40 all around the cities and get trucks, transit trucks out of the center of the city?
Yeah, we've been talking about that a little bit, and it didn't sound like from y'all's reaction that was a huge part of the Let's Move Nashville campaign, that the focus was on other areas, but a lot of people do, especially as if you have been bottlenecked coming into downtown, sitting behind a wreck and lots of semis all around you, and sometimes those wrecks include semis. You think, gosh, how can we get them out of the downtown core if they don't need to be there? You know, a lot of deliveries still need to be made, but you're saying that's not been a big issue, is what I'm hearing from you all.
Well, I think it's something that usually falls more in sort of the TDOT realm of I know that they're in the process of working on updating their freight master plan. But again, I think freight in Middle Tennessee is changing because we're growing, and so we're buying more things, and so we actually need to get more. I think historically we've been more of a pass-through, you know, all three of our interstates that come through Nashville, but more and more goods need to come to Nashville, and so they have to come into town. But you know, like I said, getting more freight onto freight trains, and looking at more dynamic signage. I know that's something that TDOT's doing well. There's not a whole lot of other tools in the toolkit.
Yeah. One thing I did want to ask about is it seems that we have been missing out on federal funding. I know we just missed a grant for the WeGo system, and it's a bit of a blow because we need that money. I mean, I'm sure everybody says that who applies for these grants, and I'm sure it's true. But why are we losing out? Have we looked at that?
Well, actually, this was a big conversation as part of our GNRC kickoff event that happened just a couple of weeks ago, and they've got some great data about the amount of federal funding we're receiving compared to our peer cities. Almost every single grant program requires a local match. So again, it comes back to that dedicated funding. There are a number of grant programs that we can't unlock because we don't have that dedicated funding to match those funds. So all the New Starts programs and the Small Starts programs, which are the main transit programs at FTA, we won't be able to access them until we have dedicated funding.
So we're kind of handicapped at this point when it comes to that. And you look at the city's budget, and we've done so many shows on this as well. There are just so many hands in the pot saying, no, we need this. And they are legitimate causes, teacher raises, police raises, you know, things that need to happen.
Yes.
But so does transit. And it's just not there, especially this year.
Right.
A big problem. Clifton, go ahead.
And yet we have to, but we have to become more proficient, more efficient at moving people, and not spending so much effort in preserving daily traffic. You know,
moving vehicles.
Moving moving vehicles. And parking spaces for single occupancy, you know, drivers and stuff. You know, so we gotta spend our time figuring out how do we move people in mass numbers.
Right. Volume.
Yeah,
that's right.
What are the big ideas, the big issues you guys are pushing towards right now? What in the short term, what can happen?
Some would say better HOV lane enforcement.
Oh. Is there enforcement? I don't know. I've never seen enforcement.
better
right?
HOV lane enforcement.
Yeah.
Well, one of the, as I said, Vanderbilt's one of the employers that's part of the Easy Ride program, which provides transit passes for our employees. There aren't a whole lot of employers in Nashville that do that, and that's one of the easiest things that employers can do. In most of our peer cities, actually, TDM legislation is mandated for employers of over 50 people. You're required to develop a plan to reduce their drive-alone rate. So employers in most major cities do pay for transit passes. Again, you've got to help even out those incentives.
Yeah.
If downtown employers paid for 2,500 annual transit passes next year, so less than 5% of downtown employees, that would be enough new revenue for WeGo to extend our service hours to 1 in the morning.
Oh, that's interesting. I like that.
My office is in Metro. I would walk to lunch if there were sidewalks.
There you go. Yeah. Just that easy.
But I'm not going to walk in the street.
No. No. I mean, we've seen what happens very clearly. All right, we have to take another quick break. We're coming back to wrap things up right after this.